So do you have any regrets for folding MAKB, like ending it? Like, it's been a few months now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I do. I think I regret I didn't I have this problem where I can go a little scorched earth at times. I don't handle uh and yes, we could get into the psychology of this, right? From, growing up in the kind of abusive household that I grew up into, or later stages, like I said, when my dad started to drink and everything like that. And just beyond that, I mean, I grew up around some really terrible people. So I don't know how to handle my emotions, like, maybe as somebody who had a better support group growing up, parents who gave a shit, like I said, we had a good relationship with my dad, but not on that level, right? Because his father was terrible to him, abusive to him, so it's like he didn't know how to
It's a
show
cycle.
love and all that stuff, right? So I'm totally different with my kids, right? Like, I tell them I love them all the time and compliment them and encourage them and say they did good job on things. Like, I never got anything like that. So, it's kind of it's not an excuse, but it's like, when things kind of go sideways for me sometimes, I just like walk away, right? Like, I'm not as forgiving as maybe I should be. If somebody does something shitty to me and they were a friend of mine, I'll be like, all right, well, fuck you, and I'll roll, and we're not friends anymore, right? um, with MAKB, I mean, obviously that's not necessarily the reason, but there was some drama there, right? With me and some other people that I was once friends with, and I'm partly to blame, right? Politics, for instance, got in the way of a lot of it. You're still seeing all that. I mean, it's not just me; it's like across the whole fishing community, or just everywhere. It's everywhere right now. Everybody, and like I'd never gotten into politics before, but now I have kids, and the choices that or the things that happen within politics, and now I'm looking toward the future. I'm like, so it kind of got me just being stupid about things that I'd never been before. And yeah, I mean, some bridges were burned, and again, partly my fault, and partly their fault. And so that was kind of weighing on me. And then when all the health stuff started happening, and it was like literally it's bad stuff. It's like early stage kidney disease. It's it's called it's well, that's the heart. So I got that's for my heart issue. It's basically inflammatory plaque buildup in my heart. It's all tied into my type 2 diabetes. And the fact that one, I had it for so long without knowing it, right? Because again, go back to my family with my shitty family. Like, apparently my dad has it, and all his brothers had it, his father had it, and they never took care of it. Most of them are dead now. They died in like their 50s, A lot of them drank and everything like that. So they're way worse off than I am at this point, at this age. But still, I didn't know I had it, and looking back, I probably started seeing the symptoms in, like, my early 20s, 22, 23. I know I was in Little Rock Air Force Base, and I left there when I was, like, 24. So sometime before that, and so it's like a silent killer, right? It does all this damage, and you don't even know about it. Messes up your teeth. All my teeth are gonna fall out, I got some loose ones, so I gotta get a whole new set of teeth. 70 grand, and it's because it damages this bone loss. You get bone loss and stuff, and then once you get bone loss, then some, like, little pockets open up between your teeth and your gums, and then bacteria gets in there, food, you can't get it out, right? And then so it just creates more bone loss. So now, yeah, like I said, I just had one taken out the other day. So things like that, it just sucks, but now I've gotten to the point where I got diagnosed originally in 2018. I did well for a couple of years, and then just, like, you fall off the wagon, so to speak. Just it's hard, because I have to essentially become a vegetarian, and even that is hard because there's a lot of carbs and sugar in vegetables, so it's this weird balancing act that I'm struggling with. And then I got to a point where it's like I just didn't even try, really, right? I was going out to we'd go on the trips, and eat like shit, we'd eat at the buffets and all that stuff, and then just all of that is just it's done damage to my kidneys, especially my right one. I was having a lot of pain last year that originally I thought was a muscle pull. I'm out of shape. Let's talk about that. I'm out of shape, fat, right? So,
Comfortable.
I could pull a muscle just sitting on the couch, right? So I thought it was, and every time, it would hurt the most when I would, like, turn around to get a rod, on my right side in the kayak. So yeah, it just seemed like a muscle pull, but it wasn't. It was my kidney. Um, so that one's worse off than my left one, but still, if I continue down this path, I'm gonna die, you know. And again, the heart issue, the plaque buildup in my heart, right? That is basically the lady, she described it as a like a zit, and it could rupture. And if it ruptures, you can get blood clots, heart attack, stroke, all this stuff. So, you know, there was a period of time like, and then I had, I think I mentioned this to you before. I'd gotten my, they wanted me to go get some blood tests. And, you know, when insurance will cover like the basics, right? Well, I wanted to see really how bad it was. So I did like a full blood panel, everything, testosterone, all that shit. And it came back. It was like bad. It was like my score was like 50%. There was so much stuff in red. And when I showed it to my doctor, he was like, this is a ticking time bomb, you know? And again, like I said, I was really struggling. My not to be gross, but my urine smelled really bad. It was like really foamy, you know, which is all signs of kidney disease. And so I got scared, man.
Yeah.
You start thinking about your kids, and you know, I was ashamed, right? Because um, you know, I did that to myself, right? Like my dad was like an alcoholic, you know what I mean? And it's like I hated him for it. And then try not to cry. Um, but you know, like it's the same thing, right? I hated him for doing that, drinking. It's like he knew, right? But like, and then here I'm doing the same thing, right? I know this will kill me, and uh, pussy. Uh, um, but yeah. So it's I got scared, and like I said, with everything, um, I just started to think about ending it, right?